How you perking? I hope you're perking good. So, highly requested topic here of looking into all the things between us here in the US and what's going on over there in Iran. So, people have started asking this in the comments, and we ended up looking into some of that already in the live stream done yesterday, but I have then since collected a couple other questions from you, so we're gonna take a deeper look into it today. So I am a licensed mental health clinician as well as a spiritual intuitive, and in these videos we do take a look at the tea with the tarot. Don't let that freak you out. I got a good track record here on the channel. And let's see. Let's go ahead and bring up the cards over there. So right here, let me move this microphone right here. All ready to see what we can find out. As always, this is all alleged, just my interpretation. Gotta say that for all the YouTube overlords that like you to disclaim everything to damn death. So, I'm gonna do that here. But essentially, the questions that I have down here that people were wanting to know is, one, what can we know about the things behind the scenes? Like, is there anything happening behind the scenes, or anything that has happened behind the scenes or will happen behind the scenes that we should know about, that we can know about, that we are allowed to know about? So going to be looking into that. Also, people have asked, is this going to become a bigger, broader thing? Or are we looking at, a resolution of some sort? So basically, is this going to escalate, or is this going to like de-escalate and resolve? People are concerned it could become a bigger, broader thing. So we're going to take a look into that as well. Let me get all situated here on my stool. And let's just dive right on in, why don't we? So, alrighty. Let's see, what can we know about things behind the scenes as it relates to this Iran, Israel, United States, like, debacle of sorts. So let's see. What can we... Why? It's the very first card of the literal entire reading. Lord of mercy. We ain't even barely got into this. Sorry, like sometimes I'm just beside myself with this. Gosh, okay. So, let's jump in. Go ahead and get our hands dirty here. First and foremost, as we can see, the card that jumped right on out there and decided to make its presence known immediately is the Devil card upright. So, in terms of behind the scenes, I don't usually like to label things like this, but this kind of leaves me no choice, especially being next to a reversed Three of Pentacles. This kind of leaves me no choice. Not a good bunch of people here. Not a good ringleader here. And so they're talking about behind the scenes. There is some leadership, and all of the, maybe not all, but a lot of the people surrounding the leadership. We're talking about some bad apples here. We're talking about some, hate to use the word nefarious, but some nefarious things going on. Some things that are toxic, things that are, dare I say, abusive, things that are not fair, diplomatic, or above board that are going on beyond what we know. Because again, I'm asking about behind the scenes. There's already things that we may already know about what's going on, and people could already have developed opinions about things that are going on, but this is talking about beyond what we are aware of, beyond what we know to be fact, beyond what we've been told or presented at face value. Beyond that is what this is talking about. And by the way, let me make sure since we're already popping off with some shit here, I may as well do two things. One is let y'all know what I know and what I don't know so that you can know how lukewarm or cold I'm reading this. I would say that I am reading this pretty cold because I have not been watching the news. I don't know exactly where we stand with this as of today. And at the time of filming right now, it's Wednesday, June 25th. And the live stream that we asked one question about this was yesterday, Tuesday, June 24th. So I don't really know where we stand with all of this as of right now, as of today. All I am aware of is that Israel is not happy with Iran. Iran is not happy with Israel. I know that there have been some bombs dropped by various entities. I don't even know who all has. I know the U.S. has. I don't know who all has in terms of Iran or Israel. Don't know if they have, but I know the U.S. has. And honestly, that's really all I know. I know that there's something going on between the three of us, and that the U.S. has dropped some bombs. That's what I know. That's literally the extent of what I know. So whatever I'm reading here, I'm reading pretty cold. So let's continue. Behind the scenes, some pretty negative, toxic, abusive, nefarious stuff going on here. And it's going on because of this reverse strength card here. Whoever this is referring to is someone or an entity, could be government, country, etc., that feels like they're not in the strongest standing that they would like to be in, and they feel like they have to wrangle the situation to get into that type of standing. So they feel like they have to, showboat or do big things to kind of get what they want so that things will look a certain way or be a certain way. It looks like they are feeling like they don't have their finger on the pulse in the way they wish, that things don't look the way they want, that basically I'm not getting my way. And so I'm going to do certain things to try to get my way. And in order to do that, I'm going to partner up with whoever I can ally with that will help me to do that. And with this Two of Pentacles in reverse here, it's kind of like, but the problem is I can't juggle all of this, and I especially can't juggle all of this seamlessly. At some point in time, I'm going to drop something. I'm not going to be able to keep all the balls in the air. I'm going to drop something. It's kind of like what they're putting in my mind right now is, when somebody is telling a lie, and then to keep the lie going, they have to tell more lies to kind of back that up, and then more lies to kind of back that up, and eventually they're going to make mistakes, and one lie is going to contradict another lie that they've told, and we're going to, see a mask off moment and be able to catch them in the act of the lie, because something's not going to add up at some point. There's that going on behind the scenes here, where whoever this is, that really, really bad intentions, a lot of negativity partnering up, they are juggling more than they can handle. They have too many balls in the air, and they're going to drop some, and it's not going to be pretty for them. They're going to lose confidence from people. People are going to start to be able to see through the mask here, and they're going to lose that confidence from people. They're going to lose some support from people because of that. Let me see if I can just get a little bit more context. I'm scared to pry too far too hard, but I'm just going to look a little bit more into this just to see where it's going with this. All right. So pulling on the top row of kind of the people, government entity that is really in kind of the shitty driver's seat, for lack of a way of putting it. Like, pulling more on that, we've got a Nine of Swords in reverse, Temperance card upright, Three of Cups upright. So what this is really showing is that they're starting to become paranoid about things, where they really feel like I've really got to do extra to try to I guess make a statement, or make a stand, or make a name for myself, or whatever. And it looks like they're again relying on this sense of partnerships, just like they were doing down here, that they really can't do it by themselves, and so they really have to rely on others. And then the Temperance card here is like, I'm just biding my time. I'm just waiting for things to play out the way that I want them to play out, and I'm just gonna try to keep moving forward with this path until, I get my means to an end, kind of thing. And so just from reading this, and again, I'm out of the loop in terms of knowing more than what I've told you that I know, but based on what I know, my assumption would be the US doesn't particularly need to partner up and have help to do whatever dirty deeds that they want to do. The US seems perfectly capable of doing their own dirty deeds by themselves, or whatever. So to me, that would make me believe that it is referring to either Israel or Iran in terms of, I need to partner up to do dirty deeds. And again, my very limited understanding of this is that it's kind of like Israel and the US against Iran right now, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. For everyone that knows more about this political thing, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But at least from the little bit that I've shared that I'm aware of, if that's the case, then again, I hate to say it, and I'm not trying to, go beyond my lane and all this kind of stuff, but then that would mean that these really not good cards here that came up front and center, that would mean those cards would be talking about Israel if that was the case. So again, because I haven't followed this, I'm not going to say that for sure. Y'all can correct me if you think if I'm seeing the dynamics wrong, and that's actually referring to one of the other three countries involved here, that could, be referring to Iran or the United States. But based on how the cards have kind of started to explain this, to me, it feels like they are describing Israel, which wow. And honestly, I think that that freaks me out a little, because all alleged, just my interpretation. This is all alleged, just my interpretation. I know we're not supposed to speak bad about countries, and I've heard from people that things go especially not well if you are overly critical of the United States or overly critical of Israel. I don't know if that's true, but I just want to be on the safe side here. I don't want to say anything too, untoward or anything. It's just those aren't good optics here from the outset. Just putting that down. Not great. So behind the scenes, if that's the case, then we're seeing them be a lot, quote unquote, weaker than they would want to seem on their own, and that they would rely on all of this kind of partnering up to be able to be as powerful as they are, needing a lot of allyship, a lot of, people that can talk for them, vouch for them, work with them, whatever. And so there's this, God, I'm so sorry for saying the things I'm saying, but I always tell you on here that I say what I see, I say what I get. And so I have to be honest and say what I get, but it does make me uncomfortable. So just don't shoot the messenger, please. Just being a mouthpiece here, just saying what I think I'm getting. And of course, you can say that I'm wrong because, got a good track record, but that doesn't mean that I can't be wrong. Human error can happen. But from this, what it's giving me is like kind of like the Wizard of Oz and the man behind the curtain type of thing, where it's like this is the all-powerful Oz, and the Oz is all powerful, and that, he's like literally the Wizard of Oz. He's like literally runs Oz. He's like literally over it. People fear him. People, look up to him. People are mystified by his power and what he can control and what he can do and this and that. But actually underneath it all, he's just a guy, and he needs a lot of help from others to be able to kind of keep up the act. And he needs, his minions to be able to go out there and keep everything in line for him so that his system can stay, maintained the way he wants it or whatever. So it's like this very big, powerful entity. But if you pop that bubble, really, there's not a lot left beneath all that. And they're giving that kind of a vibe here, which makes me wildly uncomfortable. So I don't know what to make of that. I don't really want to, make myself brain too hard and read too far into that right now. Because then I'll start having to put my own personal interpretations on it, which I don't really want to do at this particular moment. Maybe that's something I reflect on myself in my own time, in my own way, but for this reading, I'm just saying what I'm seeing, and you can interpret how you interpret, you can discern how you discern, you can take it where you want to take it, and certainly there's room to disagree with me within that. Just do so politely, please. So that's how we do on this channel. We say what we think, we say what we feel, but we do it with respect as much as we can, and civility as much as we can. So what a start here. Wow. Okay. So all this being said, because we're relying on a lot of help and partnership and all of that, that brings us into the next question, where people are like, okay, that being said, is this going to become a bigger and broader thing? Are people going to be partnering up, and you partnering up, and you partnering up, and you partnering up, and you partnering up until we end up with this big thing? So let's take a look into that as I shuffle up here. If you'd like to be a member of the Perk Squad, then you can click the join button below or the link in the description box, because being a member of the Perk Squad means you get a lot of extras here. So you get extra videos, you get extra, weekly forecasts, you get extra your own Penelope and emojis, and you get video shout outs like this one. Shout out to Bella, and thank you for being a member of the Perk Squad. Happy to have you here, Bella. Thank you for being a member. Shout out to you. So lots of perks of the Perk Squad over there if you'd like to join. So blue join button down below or link in the description box. So let's see. Let's ask that question. Ooh, first, before I even ask that question, I can put the clip in here. So yesterday, related to this question, someone in the chat, I believe it was Orlando, asked, will there be U.S. troops sent over there to, Iran, that whole area over there, U.S. boots on the ground, to start showing up and like actively fighting this war or something? Is that something that looks like it's gonna happen? So that's very related to, is this going to become a bigger and broader thing? Certainly it would be bigger and broader if we were sending all our men and women over there to like be for real fighting on their soil and making it a big thing like we did in Afghanistan when I was younger and stuff, and we've done in Iraq, and Lord, we've done in a lot of places, I imagine. Are we going to do like that? Is that in the cards? And so we looked into that yesterday as a mini read on our live stream. So let me put that clip in here. So I have shuffled the shit out of these this entire time, ready to ask our second question for our mini read today. Orlando's question with this whole Trump and Iran thing, just seeing if we can ask in mini form the likelihood, the chance of Trump sending actual American troops on the ground to Iran, or, that general area for that general debacle going on right now. So let's just see. Okay. So we've got bad and good news intertwined here. Honestly, with a question like that, to have at least a mix of not so bad in with the not so good, I kind of will take that. So the good news here, I find, are these cards. I would actually say that the reverse death card, even if it's like, oh good, the death card in reverse, and that could be a positive thing that you can view in a positive way, but actually this time, I would kind of say this one is maybe our challenge card in this draw, because with this coming up in reverse, it's good that it looks like we're not going to be stuck, and that it doesn't look like our, as in the US, hands will be tied to where it's like, now our hands are tied. There's nothing we can do, but we have to send in the American troops. We have to put them over there. Our hands are tied. There's no way out of it. There's no way around it. This has to happen. This must occur. I don't see us getting to that type of level. Can people decide to send them in anyway, even if it's not a must? Yeah, people can decide to send people in even if it's not an outright this has to be. But I at least don't see us getting to that situation, at least not in the near future, where our hands are tied to the point where it's like, all right, send them all in kind of thing. I don't see us getting to that, which brings us over here to this positive type of thing, in that our Nine of Wands upright is, I usually call it my little Rocky Balboa card. He's got his little bandage on his head, but he's standing. He got back up. He's still standing. And so there's this sense of resiliency coming from this card, where again, it suggests that we will have found other points of resilience, other ways to stay strong enough to not require sending them in, sending them over. So again, those things bode well for not having to have a huge influx of troops from the US headed into Iran. The thing that makes me have some pause is here with the reverse death card. In a way, it's good to see that, because it would mean, not a huge loss of American life over this conflict, which it's always a good sign to see, not a huge loss of any life over any conflict, so I will take not seeing a huge loss of American life over this Iranian conflict. However, the part that makes me be like, about this card is that the death card in reverse literally means you're not letting something die. You're not letting it end. You're not letting it be over. And so sometimes that means I want to kick the can around a little bit longer. I want to kick the can around a little bit further. I'm not ready to close this door. I'm not ready to close this chapter. I'm going to dig my heels in and, see if I can kind of hold on a little bit. So there is something here that makes me feel like that door is being left open. So it's kind of like we've opened the door to look in about what's happening over here. We're deciding to not send American troops through that door into Iran, but we're also not closing the door to say, never mind that, let's walk away from that door. We're like, I'll keep the door open and I'll keep peeking out and I'll keep looking and I'll keep deciding. So this to me feels like it is unlikely for a bunch of U.S. troops to be forced to go over there and forced to deal with that we would be able to keep people home as much as we can. But I don't like that the door is being left open, because that does mean that at some point in the future, there's a potential that things could change enough to shift this threshold and change that opinion. So this, to me, feels like for right now, we're in the clear of that. For a little foreseeable chunk of time, we could be in the clear of that. But if some key player in this mix decides to pop off and do something big, then the layout of this could shift, because this is the seed planted for that. So that makes me uncomfortable. I'm not freaking out about what I'm seeing here. I'm just enough to make me uncomfortable. Okay, so you saw what it said yesterday when we looked into that. Good news mostly, but also kind of tentative a little left some room to be desired, I'd say, with that open door, but mostly encouraging with that. So, that being said, let's take a look into this question of, will this become a bigger, broader war? That's our natural next direction to look into based off of what that said. So, let's take a peek here at that. Alrighty. Okay. I will say that though some of these cards are not the best cards to see, I am likewise encouraged to see this lineup, just like I was mostly encouraged to see the lineup there on yesterday's live. So it was kind of like two are looking pretty decent, one not looking so hot. And here we've got kind of a similar range of feeling from this. So I'll take it when we get any little inches of positivity. I will take that. Any little inches of encouragement or relief, I will take that. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. It looks here like that there have been decisions made already. And again, this could be behind the scenes. I don't know if this is made in public, then I'm not privy to it. I'm not aware of it, but that there have been decisions made already that we don't want to go that deep for this. And so the kind of like the picture that they're giving me in my mind around this is, I remember years ago when the conflict started between Ukraine and Russia, people were asking, is this going to be the beginning of a bigger war? Is this going to start a World War III? Like, is this kind of the beginning of that end? And people were really worried about that, and understandably so. But I kept seeing that, like, it's kind of decided that we don't want to go all in on this. Like, this is not the hill we want to die on, basically. We do not want to go all in on this. We meaning a lot of countries. Ooh, excuse me, little camera over here. We meaning a lot of countries around the world don't want to go all in on this. And so I kept seeing, like, I don't want to give people false hope here, but it doesn't look like to me that the Ukraine and Russia conflict was gonna, turn into a WW3 type situation there. And I'm getting similar kind of vibes from this of, we're deciding we don't want to go there with this. We don't have that kind of like, yes, charge ahead. Like, we don't have that kind of united energy around this. The Empress card upright is much more like, let's just plant the seeds and kind of play our cards the way we want to play, but not take it to that level. So it does kind of mean that there could be some potential threats of like taking it to continued further, challenging territory. We've already been, in situations where even if it hasn't become an entire WW3 event, that doesn't mean there hasn't been a lot of loss of life, a lot of casualties, a lot of loss of property, a lot of destroyed cities and belongings and everything like that. It's not like there hasn't been loss. It's just that it hasn't been that level. And this is showing, we want to plant some seeds, so there may be some continued losses like what we've already seen before, unfortunately. But again, that slow, low burn as opposed to, a big show, so to speak. Down here, Seven of Cups in reverse, Queen of Wands in reverse, Fool card upright. So again, not really wanting to take it to that level, but being open to lesser forms of disruption or conflict or issues or stuff like that. So again, I'm not super happy about seeing like, we don't want to go there, but we're okay with this. I don't really like that. I'd rather see like everybody just say, screw this and get rid of all of it. But I suppose if we're saying, well, at least that's better than the alternative. Okay, fair enough with that. But just not really wanting to go there. Even the Queen of Wands being in reverse, like don't have that fire to burn forward, but great mystery is still here. Still that little element of mystery. Still that little element of I can and I will if I want. So it's kind of more of the threat of the possibility than seeing the actual thing happening here. And the Fool card upright, I don't usually say this because the Fool card is, not a terrible energy, and seeing it in the upright can be a very, carefree, kind of lighthearted energy. But honestly, in this reading, with everything that we've already seen and looked at, I honestly think that this is kind of talking about the card in a literal sense, like that there is some foolishness in the air. There's some decisions that can and will be made that people will consider foolish. And so that will continue to stoke embers to create more fire, but the fire, it seems, doesn't get out of hand and, burn the whole forest, so to speak. But in that case, I'm not too keen on seeing that card here. But again, we're playing a risky game here. And at the same time, I just am not seeing, again, World War III type of energy from this. The cards do not look quite that level volatile here. So in terms of bigger, broader, I'm tentatively, I'm not as worried about that right now. As we know, if anybody wakes up on a weird side of the bed and decides to make a completely different and irrational decision that's way out of line from their normal, they went from 0 to 10 that day, or whatever, then there's a possible that outcomes could shift a bit. But for right now, with the energy that we have, this looks to be the most likely outcome, the most opaque of all the options floating around. So doesn't make me the happiest in the land, but I will count my blessings where I can see them. So, shoo. That being said, I know we've talked a lot here. Two things. One, if you'd like to book a private reading with me, BeasTalksAndTarot.com, you can book a private reading. You can also book Reiki Energy healing if you feel like you need a cleansing, clearing, tune-up of sorts. You can also book an intuitive healing session if you need some kind of guidance, life coaching, ability to let go of some stuff and so you can move forward, feeling stressed and dissatisfied with things and wanting help to kind of get on the right track with your life, where you want to go with it. I can help with that as well. Also, if you're interested in learning how to read the cards the way I read the cards, then tarot tutoring is there on Beast Talks and Tarot as well. So all of that there on my website, like I said, BeasTalksAndTarot.com, if you would like to book a private session with me. And now, the second thing that I wanted to bring up. I don't want to forget that at the beginning of this month, which feels like yesterday, but apparently was so long ago, considering right now is the 25th, we announced a giveaway, and people have had plenty of time to enter into the giveaway. So today, right now, it is time to announce the winner of who won a free 15-minute private tarot reading with me. So let's see who the random picker generator thingy-majig chose. Alrighty, ready to pick a winner from the June 2025 predictions video. I have entered the word win here, and let's see who's chosen. So, congratulations, Sexy Kitten. I love the screen name. Congratulations to you. You have won a free 15-minute private tarot reading with me, and to redeem your prize, just email me at beastalksandtarot@gmail.com, and we'll make sure you are you, and I'll set you up with your winnings. Yay! Congratulations! All right, congratulations for winning a free 15-minute private tarot reading with me, and just email me at beastalksandtarot@gmail.com, and I can help connect you with your prize. So now that it's June 25th, that does mean that after this video today, the very next video that we're going to be filming here on the channel really needs to be the July predictions video. So if you didn't win today and you still want to have the chance to win, then tune in, subscribe, click the notification bell, and select all so that you can be notified of all the videos, so that you will know when the July predictions video comes out, and there will be another giveaway where you can enter that giveaway and have a chance to win in the month of July. So tune in for that. That's coming down the pipeline here. And as always, I know it's been a heavy time looking at some of these things today. These are some hard things. I had moments of getting wildly uncomfortable with what I was seeing, starting to sweat it out there for some of these things. And so, like I like to do here, we're going to end it with some sort of B-roll, puppy shenanigans, or neighbor cat shenanigans, or husband Julio shenanigans, or whatever the hell we've got here. I'm going to end it with some kind of shenanigans, some kind of funny stuff to put at the end, or lighthearted, or cute, or sweet, you know, whatever. Just something to be a nice little antidote to the heavy stuff that we just shouldered together. So I'm gonna put that here at the end, and I reckon I will see y'all soon after that for our July predictions videos. I say plural because there are always two. Perk Squad's gonna get their own, as always. So anywho, don't be a stranger. Come back and see me, and I will talk at you later. Bye, y'all. Looking on the video, because that's what we have to do.
I forgot my glasses.
Oh, God. Every
I have them in the car
time.
now, like I'm gonna wear them.
Every time we end up in this situation, you forget your damn glasses, and then we can't have
I'm
them.
gonna close my eyes.
It's gonna be obvious. Oh, shit. Thank you. William, you can do it for the camera this time. About what you said.
You got a nice cup of tea, mate.
Okay. Yeah, don't interrupt him. He's gotta do it. He's gonna practice.
I didn't bother. I'm just drinking a nice cup of tea, mate, until I'm eating a bunch of gummy bears. With my pinky out.
With your pinky out?
Yes, I'm doing it with my pinky until I'm acting like British, like all in all.